Good morning. Welcome today. I believe we are 152 of 365 days of morning routines and rituals with me, Carla Marie. So good morning. We are, what day is it today? Wednesday, the 29th. Full moon energy today. Oh, she's been a doozy, this Aquarius energy, hasn't she? Let's begin our morning with our Luminous Humanist book, just to give us some good affirmations and quotes to start our day. Attune your vibration. Becoming luminous in your humanness isn't a game of chance or bearing the difficulties in life until we win the lottery. Attuning to the luminous humanness is not a passive, but an active state, and you have more to say in the matter than you may realize. Your primary job is to tune into the vibration of your higher self on a regular basis until it becomes automatic. That takes consciousness, will, and focus. It won't just happen as you watch the news, scroll through social media, or go on autopilot all day. And if by miracle grace suddenly descends upon you, it won't stick unless you build the muscle to be able to contain and maintain it. The good news is that there is no more need for patience. Your days of waiting are over. You know what your marching orders are, so you can get to the business of attuning your vibration to the highest within you. Affirmation today is attuning my vibration is my full-time job, and it pays off in spades. Yes, it does. It's been my journey for the last 7-ish, 8 years now. And time flies when you're having fun. I started this journey in a really, really bad space. When I started this journey in 2019, my eldest daughter was going through her own wobbles. I was struggling as a mum, and I had no tools to know what my nervous system needed, let alone know what a nervous system was. And so I've been on this incredible journey of trying to learn and understand self since then. It is what has allowed me to be incredibly intuitive. And as I'm doing my trauma-informed intuitive breathwork certification, more and more of being intuitive is showing up in those spaces. And it's showing me how I work really well with energy and how I notice it and feel it pretty quickly within others. And so that makes me pretty excited to watch where this unraveling might go. When we're born with certain gifts, it just becomes a bit of a natural sense, and sometimes we don't really know that it's there. And so this is where learning and training in different areas and fields can help us strengthen those muscles really well. I have always had incredible senses, but I didn't know that they were clear senses. And I guess that's a part of my human journey. I had to understand the humanness of the world first before I could really tap into spirit. But that's been my journey, and everyone's journey is different. I have a recollection of feeling and hearing spirit as a child, and I shut it out. I was so fearful. So I'm incredibly excited to see what unravels within the next couple of months as I dive even further into who I am. And it's a pretty cool thing. I love feeling energy, and I can feel when you're not regulated, and then I can help you become regulated, and it's a pretty cool thing to be able to do. And if you've been a part of a healing space with me, you would probably know that about me, and I will speak into that. Hey, I don't think you're quite regulated right now. Let's try this before we move on, and things like that, because I want you to receive, to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel whole, to feel like you're healing. And sometimes we can't do that unless our nervous system feels safe to do that. And the only way I personally have found to help settle my nervous system is through spaces of meditation and things, whether that's through a breathwork journey, whether that's through a Reiki session, whether that is through, you know, another modality that is out there. Finding those spaces for self, for your mind, your body, and your soul to rest, to relax and digest, so you can move into alignment to where you need to be, because that's that journey of finding the balance. And when we can regulate our nervous systems, we then know what is ours and what isn't. And it becomes a lot easier for us to then maneuver, move, and shift through when we know what we're feeling. If we can feel those different sensations within ourselves first, it makes it a lot easier to understand where someone else is coming from. And they're things that I've had to develop. I've had to really study this. Now, I was really blessed along my journey. When I went through all of my learning, it was COVID times. So I had a lot of time. I had a lot of time to be at home and to learn and to do these things. And I thank Spirit every day for those little blessings, because without that space, I don't know if I would have had the opportunity to sit with self as much as I did. And it has really allowed me to be aware of different energies now. And I kind of want to go into that a little bit, and it allows us to then see it from another perspective when we are understanding where our energy sits and where someone else's energy sits. I had a falling out with a friend a little while ago. It was a few years ago now, so it's not anything raw or real, but she fell out with me because when I spoke, I was extremely passionate. I came across aggressive to her, and that's okay. That was her perception, and I was worried for her. I was worried about what she was doing and how that would affect her mind, her body, and her soul. Because I was so passionate in how I responded, it made her feel like I was aggressive, and it made her feel like she needed to put a very big boundary in place and that she couldn't be my friend anymore. And that is okay. That was her story, right? I was able to go home and see it from that other perspective of what I did wrong. I was able to own my shit and go, yeah, okay, I probably did speak quite aggressively in that space, and it was because I was worried. I sat in reflection. I worked out where and why I responded in the way that I did, and I apologized for that. She still chose to put a boundary in place, and that is her prerogative to do, and I was okay with that. It was what it was. I respected her enough to know that I didn't want to push the subject. If she didn't want to be my friend, I didn't want to force her. That's what it is, right? If she didn't feel happy in that space, that is up to her. What I've also learned from these spaces is the stories that that person was then holding was also a part of that. It was, you know, where I'm at, there was that competitiveness. You know, there was lots of stories that went with that topic. And I can't change that. It's not my job to change the opinion of someone else. My job is to make myself feel good, regardless of the opinions of others. And that's where that meditation and sitting with our higher self really does help, because then we can see the story. We can see it from both perspectives, and then we can make choices and changes that honor not only us but others, and we can then evaluate whether that is something we need to work on, change, grow with, whatever. And those who love you will accept those wobbly parts of you as they are, regardless of whether you have control over them or not. And this is that thing that we are learning in this journey. It's whether those choices hurt others and whether they're willing to respond to them appropriately. That's all. For me, I never, ever, ever want to hurt someone. So if I have made someone feel a certain way, conversate with me. Please message me. Let's have that conversation so I can own my shit and make you feel better and apologize for what I did wrong. I don't like making others feel terrible. It's not a human quality or choice that I like. And I choose to respond differently. So if I've made you feel a certain way, my inbox is always open and I would love to have that conversation with you. The same way I have had these conversations with people I grew up with. We're human, right? I bullied people in school. It wasn't because I wanted to hurt another. It was because hurt people hurt people, and I had no idea what I was doing. I have since been able to have conversations with some of the people that I picked on and own that and told them how sorry I was, and then I got to share with them what I was actually navigating within that period of my own life. And then I was able to be accountable for the pain and the suffering that I caused someone else. That's what being a human is about. Same as recently. I know my post recently in the last month created friction and tension because I shared for someone else. I shared their heart. Now, what that did is it made someone out to be a villain. Now, if you were to have a conversation with me personally, you would understand that I can see very clearly both sides. And I have a lot of love for the other party because I can really see that they have no idea what they're doing. And so I'm aware of that. And I'm honestly extremely okay to own my stuff in that space because we are human beings. We don't know it all in the moment. And I'd rather have that conversation where we can find forgiveness and clarity and move through it. Because one person's story doesn't mean it's truth. There's so many facets to a story. And when people have conversations with me, I can have that with you. I can share those perspectives. Like that one I was navigating, helping someone move through domestic violence when they've shared their story. I can see both sides. I can see that the other person is so caught up in their own stuff that they cannot see what they have done. And that's sad. That makes me sad. It makes me want to love on that person even more to help them. But you can only help someone so much. You can take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. You can force that horse's head under the water. You can put water in its mouth, but it's still the responsibility of the horse to take the drink of water. And something I have learnt, which is very difficult when you are walking this journey, when do you give up on the horse? When do you cut that dead horse or dying horse away from the herd? And this is the reality of life. We have to be willing to draw a line in the sand at some point, otherwise it's detrimental to the rest of the herd. And so this is what we're learning. This is what we're discovering. And I think if we can be extremely open-minded and curious to these sides, perspectives, and conversations, we then don't put ourselves in a box of what is right or wrong, because there is no such thing. It just is. You just had an experience and you chose the best you could. There is no right or wrong in that. How you responded to what I wrote, again, there's no right or wrong in that. It was just your perception of that moment, of that space. But it's having the curiosity to pick up a phone and have a conversation with someone so that way we are not closed-minded. So we remain curious. Have a hard conversation. I enjoy hard conversations as much as they make me shake and all of the things. but I only enjoy having hard conversations when both parties are open to hearing the conversation. Otherwise, you're just wasting your breath, right? The journey of life. Be curious. Be open to perspection. We do not know it all. And the moment we do, we die. That's the mastery part, right? The moment we have mastered being a human being, you die. I don't want to go yet. I'm still learning. I'm going to be a learner for the rest of my life. I would love to continue learning about energy until I'm old, wrinkly, and can no longer move my own body. And I want to be able to play with that energy and see how I can fix my own body as I grow old. Because I'm curious. I'm curious about energy in the world that I live in. And I'm continuously opening to be a learner in those spaces. Because that's life, right? It's Earth's school. We will always be the learner. We might be the teacher for others at some point in our journey as well, but we will always be learning. We'll always be the student, regardless of whether you are a teacher. And that is something I really love about the journey. Staying open-minded and curious. I love energy and I love working with it. I love sitting with myself and unraveling the human parts of who I am. Do you? Okay, I'm going to start our morning over here and get the kids up for school and start the day and wonder and find out who put that galaxy on my roof in the dining room. If you haven't seen my story this morning, I woke up to find a big galaxy on the dining room roof. Someone had brought one of those projector lights. No idea who. So I'll find out this morning when we all wake up and have a good giggle. All of the antics in our home, right? We do live in a very large home, so sometimes it can be really hard to know what everybody is doing within this space when you live in so many levels. But that's the joy, right? And this bigness won't last for very long as we decide to do what we are going to do for the rest of the year. This might be my last 6 months in person. So if you are wanting a healing in the Mandurah area, this may be your last 6 months to book in. Spirit have been saying for a while that it's time to leave Mandurah, and I really do feel that pull is coming. Not sure when or how or why, but we're watching and trusting the unravelment. And I do believe it has something to do with going home to Zach's whānau land and being a part of whatever that journey is. So we'll wait and see what unravels, right? But yes, I have a feeling this is the last 6 months of being in person in this area, which is a bit of a surreal feeling to have. All right, let's leave it there. It's a beautiful morning out there. I'm just going to flick it this way so you can see the sun rise. Got my big chair in the way, but it is a gorgeous morning out there. That sun is out and golden and beautiful. We are so blessed here in beautiful WA. Okay, I hope you have the most wondrous day doing whatever it is that you are doing. And if you're wondering what this is, it is called a goat strip. There is 3 little tabs in it that open up your nose to help you breathe. I love you. Have a wonderful day.